I don't know who need to hear this, but let that think you dumb. Don't let him know you know stuff. Because if you feel intimidated by your intelligence, he is not going to do right. He's going to let you control and take over. And women are not meant to lead men. Your man is meant to lead you.
Yes, so it happened right here at this Chick-fil-A in Leeds. The woman drove up to the window, held up her pepper spray, and robbed the employees of their money, then sped out of the parking lot and drove to the Wind Creek Casino near Montgomery.
On Friday morning, January 2nd, just after 9 a.m., a 32-year-old woman pulled into a Chick-fil-A drive-thru in Asheville Road in Leeds, Alabama. Now, according to Leeds police, the woman was later identified as Kaudija Haynes. She did not place an order. Instead, she produced a can of mace and instructed the employee to hand over the bag of money. The employee complied, and that detail matters because Chick-fil-A employees are trained in situations like this to give up the money so no one gets injured.
Give the money up, not to risk their life or to someone to get harmed. So once she got the money, she fled.
After receiving the bag, police say she flew out the parking lot driving crazy, putting workers and other people's life in danger. Now, at that point, most people would think the story end there. Nope. Robbery, escape, investigation. But this is why the story go farther. Plus, on that same day, still on January 2nd, police used high tech to track her down. And they didn't find her hiding. They didn't find her leaving town. They located her as she was exiting the Wind Creek Casino located outside of Montgomery, Alabama. Same day, same money. And that's where the story stops being confusing. When officers tried to take her into custody, she took off and resisted arrest. She jumped back into her car and fled. A short time later, she drove off the roadway and crashed into a couple of trees. And that's how usually these stories end, not with a plan, but with damage. Haynes is currently being held in the Elmo County Jail, facing charges including robbery, theft of property, and reckless endangerment. And once she's released, she'll be transferred to the St. Clair County Jail, facing first-degree robbery, reckless endangerment, and a fourth-degree theft of property charge. That's not a one bad decision, that's momentum. Police also made something clear. The Chick-fil-A employee did exactly what they were trained to do. Give up the money, avoid bodily harm to themselves, and save other people's lives. Technology played a major role in locating the suspect quickly. And after the incident, employees at that location will no longer carry bags of cash. That's how one event reshapes procedure. The police chief said something that didn't make headlines, but it explains everything. He said addiction would cause someone to do anything, to gamble or use drugs. And when you think about it, a weekday morning, 9 a.m., a fast food drive-thru, that's not a plan, that's compulsion. So what do we actually see here? We didn't just see a robbery, we saw what happened when the addiction overrides judgment. Fortunately, no one was injured in this case, and that matters. But the pattern is still there, because once someone was willing to rob a Chick-fil-A and gamble the money the same day, you are no longer dealing with the crime alone, you're dealing with dependency. So the real question becomes, at what point do people realize the warning signs and before the ending is permanent? All right, guys, what you think? It's your boy. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Sub the bell. We out.